Your Excellency, President Natasha Pirsi Musa from Slovenia, our special guest in this 62nd Madaraka Day here in Homabay. Your Excellencies, honorable members, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the great people of Homabay and Kenya, hamjambo. Homabay hoye. Amoso ujodurwa. Jodurwa untie. Jodurwa umor. Jodurwa oil. Bwana Yesu asifiwe. Asanteni sana. Kwanza, kabla sijasoma taarifa yangu ya siku ya leo, in our midst we have a friend of Kenya, a great lady who has paid us a visit. When I invited her to come, she was gracious to consider time to come and fellowship with us. And more importantly, she agreed to be a special guest on this Madaraka Day in Homabay. Your Excellency, Madam President, we honor you. We are grateful for your consideration and for coming to be in our midst. And the people of Kenya, represented by the people here, welcome you to Kenya. And as a special guest, let me allow you to make your statement. Tumkaribishe Mheshimiwa Rais na makofi jameni. Welcome, Madam President.
Hello, everybody. Dear Mr. President, distinguished guests, and above all, people of Kenya, I stand here before you, deeply honored by the privilege that Kenya, a proud and powerful nation of the African continent, has bestowed upon me to address the Kenyan people on behalf of the people of Slovenia. I stand before you, humbled yet proud of how warmly Slovenia has been received and of our shared desire to see the cooperation between our two countries flourish. 62 years ago, the Kenyan people wrote a pivotal chapter in history. Madaraka Day, the day Kenya gained the freedom of self-government, marked the day Kenya finally secured the right to shape its future. An arduous journey came to an end. The days when foreign settlers drove the Kenyan population from fertile land and forced them into poorly paid labor are long gone, but they will never be forgotten. For the struggle for the independence was anything but easy, and it came at a heavy cost. Of course, the Kenyan people know only too well that history is not just about facts. It is also about preserving and developing the fundamental values that ensure the survival of a nation. Values that strengthen its identity and, above all, its unity. Jomo Kenyatta, the man who led Kenya to independence, recognized this. He also knew that Kenya's unity alone would not be enough to secure a bright future of Africa. Africa must also unite. A strong Africa, ladies and gentlemen, means a strong Kenya. In this context, we must recall another milestone anniversary. The year 1945 not only marked the end of the Second World War. That year, 80 years ago, the Pan-African Federation was created. The founders of the Federation, including Jomo Kenyatta, sent a clear message to the world. 700 million people living under colonial rule and without rights had had enough. They demanded their place under the sun. One by one, the former colonies became sovereign and independent states, but the idea of African unity never faded, least of all in Kenya. What better proof of this vision than the most important project in African history to date, the creation of the African Continental Free Trade Area in 2018. Kenya was among the first countries to ratify the founding treaty. Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, the lessons of the past shape our vision of the future. In the 1960s, the world experienced a wave of decolonization. Yet in many ways, colonialism, and if I may say so, a condescending attitude towards the newly independent states did not just cease to exist, but there was a way to build self-confidence and assert oneself on the world stage. My generation, ladies and gentlemen, grew up in former Yugoslavia. We still remember the non-aligned movement of the Cold War era, a large and respected group of countries, including Kenya, that defied the interests of the superpowers and former colonial powers. That spirit of non-alignment was vital then, and it remains relevant today. We live in a world where both old and emerging powers are yet again shaping the world before our eyes. All the rest of us, the smaller countries, must not just passively observe these developments. We must ask ourselves, what about